you see on the last play from Caitlin, and then on top of that, what do you think of your team play?
I thought she got fouled. I think it's pretty egregious what's been happening to us the last few games. A minus 31 free throw discrepancy. And I might be able to understand it if we were just chucking threes, but we're not. We're attacking.
Stephanie White lighted up the referees as if they had forgotten how to read the rulebook as she simply entered the court without holding back. The Fever coach finally had enough of Caitlin Clark's nasty fouls and lack of calls for weeks. You should reconsider your assumption that coaches just receive technicals. White's scathing criticism generated a lot of heat. Now, there may be some fair cries for the WNBA's typical punching bag. Fasten your seatbelt. This might mark the beginning of a new era in which responsibility is paramount. The referees were just put under intense scrutiny and pressure to make changes by the Fever.
This don't make no sense, man. This don't make no sense. I think Stephanie White has had enough of all the bullshit going on in the WNBA. Caitlin Clark being hurt, yeah, she might be hurt, but I don't believe it's to the magnitude of what people saying. I think this is a message they sending out that we've done taking all this roughhousing and no fouls and all this BS and ain't getting no foul.
Every admirer of Caitlin Clark, casual spectator, and even a semi-conscious squirrel has long suspected what Stephanie White ultimately expressed. Basketball is not officiated by WNBA officials. They only sound their whistles when Clark lets out an excessively loud exhale while officiating a gladiator arena. Nobody would notice if the Indiana Fever threw away their playbook and used boxing gloves instead. There is an outright assault taking place on that court, not a defense. Bare-knuckle fighting while the officials did nothing. Basketball is no longer the focus of the game. Under the pretense of regulation, it has descended into a chaotic melee.
As you can see after the game, Caitlin Clark and Sophie are both running up to the referee here. They are both so upset, and the referee is just walking away from them. He won't even look at them in the face. He keeps turning. Like, Sophie even went up at one point and is like tapping on his arm. He would not even look at them. You guys, I have watched so much basketball in my lifetime, so much NBA, so much professional basketball. It's comical at times when you see the players after the games talking to the refs, because a lot of them end up knowing each other at a certain point because they've reffed their game so many times. The fact that this referee wouldn't even acknowledge the players was kind of crazy to me. Like, when I saw that, I said, this is really strange, because the referee should have enough confidence in the calls that they made to at least discuss. You should be able to at least discuss something with the players, because a lot of times players will go up and be like, why did you call that? What did you see? What was going on? And there's a back and forth that's happening. This guy's literally running away from them.
These aren't birds, let's face it. They are muggings throughout the day. With a camera team, 15,000 witnesses, and live ESPN coverage. There is more touch during a single Fever possession than throughout the previous 10 family get-togethers. The referees, on the other hand, are observing with no worry at all, as if they were high on Ambient. There is blatant, unreserved bias on full show, with no pretense of impartiality or fairness. Chaos and frequent foul calls that appear more about managing the spectacle than officiating basketball have taken the place of the game's integrity. Everyone can see the obvious, unadulterated bias.
But if anything, this should be a lesson to the league and a lesson to the officiating, because the amount of contact that is allowed without a foul call and the amount of physicality that Caitlin Clark has to battle through being double teamed and triple teamed, and honestly, it's mostly just not being called for these fouls, needs to be assessed. Caitlin Clark is the league's star player, whether you like it or not. It shows in the bottom line. It shows in the revenue. It shows in the viewership numbers. Every which way you turn, it shows.
The league says it wants respect, expansion, and better ratings. However, it permits guys who treat defense like a WWE audition to violently attack Caitlin Clark, who is likely the most recognizable rookie since LeBron James. The WNBA's reaction, a shrug, an ambiguous feminist tweet, and the ongoing mayhem on the floor. It's definitely not basketball, so officials appear to be observing a completely different game. The referee looks at Clark blankly like a deer caught in LED headlights as he lines up his clothes to go to the basket. It's not simply poor officiating. That is blatant carelessness. Why are Carrington's Freddy Krueger-like claws allowed close to players if blades are prohibited on the court? Nobody appears to worry that some players carry talons sharp enough to carve initials into hardwood. We feel like we're watching the courtside edition of Hunger Games. Not only was Carrington's foul brutal, but the audience applauded it as a felony. However, the WNBA is too preoccupied with uploading Instagram reels about sisterhood and tweeting empowerment mantras to realize that their star is being body-checked as if she owes money. There are no penalties, ejections, or accountability, just league officials' silence and ambiguous remarks about allowing players to participate. However, they are actually permitting pummeling. It's not basketball here. It's chaos disguised as athletics. Additionally, the league's complacency is illegal. Fans are entitled to better. Players should be protected. Above all, the game should be respectable rather than a violent and careless show.
Now, this is what I'm going to say about this situation. Is the Fever players, you got to know, this is how they're going to ref your games. They're going to let Caitlin Clark be held, be hand-checked, have her arm chopped, and they're barely going to call fouls. Because of players are going to get away with what they get away with. If you allow a player to foul a player all game long, guess what? They're going to foul them all.
Stephanie White, meantime, is out there criticizing the league and its officials as if she has had enough of seeing turmoil. Is she to blame? Instead of navigating a maze of unbridled violence, she is attempting to coach basketball. She's not merely coaching a squad, even though referees appear more concerned in evading responsibility. In real time, she is dealing with trauma. Corruption grows like mold in a forgotten meal because the league lacks organization. Every poor call, or worse, no call at all, soused out in the back of fans' minds. Is someone making sure the attractive white girl doesn't shine too brightly too soon? Or is this incompetence? Would Caitlin Clark be tackled in transition and sent home with an ice pack and a keep going tweet if she played for the Las Vegas Aces and earned that much money in coverage? It goes beyond just rough play. It is deliberate, focused, and motivated by inconsistencies. The officials' apparent lack of interest implies that they would like to be somewhere else. This is an execution rather than a learning curve. Fans wonder if they should make financial, emotional, or even visual investments in response to such flagrant disregard. The product loses if the league doesn't defend its stars, and each time they turn a blind eye, the league's reputation suffers. Fans are entitled to better. Players also do.
Now that right there is Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark, that's her, out there on the basketball court, chilling. Out there shooting jumpers. Y'all see that? Her jumper look wet too. Now you supposed to be hurt and chilling with your leg up, feet up. You out here shooting jumpers. So what that lead me to believe is that her injury can't be too like, is it that bad? They say it's a grade 1. Okay, cool. Even if it's a grade 1, would you be out there shooting jumpers? Caitlin Clark is at the practice arena shooting three-pointers. This might just be a message that Stephanie is like, you know what? Y'all ain't gonna do nothing. Y'all ain't gonna fix this. Y'all gonna keep letting my player get hound? Okay, cool. I'm gonna hit you where it hurt. I'm gonna hit y'all in your pocket.
There are now real discussions regarding whether Clark should skip the entire season. Rapper needs travel to France to score 40 points every night, earning treble the salary and garnering considerably more respect while sipping a fine European cappuccino. Because basketball players are regarded as assets rather than targets for mistreatment abroad. They are not subjected to brutality every quarter while the commissioner of the league takes pictures wearing a commemorative t-shirt. Not only should Kathy Angelbert make better choices, but she should also be held responsible for her continued employment after consistently permitting this turmoil to occur. Her work is easy. Expand the league, not at an exponential rate. Just keep the talent safe enough that fans don't start making fun of the product and using injury reports as jokes. She doesn't have to start from scratch. When players are drop-kicked into stanchions, all she has to do is summon fouls. The league should prioritize protecting athletes and upholding integrity rather than watching helplessly as celebrities are used as punching bags.
And as the league's star player, she should not be bullied around or ragdolled, just pushed around like she is. There is an undeniable disparity in the officiating. I mean, think about the Kobe whistle in the NBA. No one touched him without an issue. I remember Draymond Green saying if anything happened to Steph, Draymond Green would get up in a player's face. That's not to say that there shouldn't be fairness in the officiating. Yes, Caitlin Clark should be called for fouls, but the fairness is what is being disputed here, in that she is being pushed around and not being calling, and that only hurts the league. It only hurts the eyes on the league because she is the star player. Like in the Atlanta game, it almost seemed like the strategy was to just like hack them and like kind of get up in Caitlin Clark's face by like all the hand checks and things that just were not called. So hopefully this is a wake-up call.
Clark's body appears to be treated as disposable by Kathy's activities, all for the twisted purpose of accomplishing parity. However, parity isn't what's actually taking place. It's sabotage. Growth is not being fostered when your most prominent, powerful, and important player is being utilized as a punching bag. The league's reputation is being aggressively harmed by that. Without star power, the league runs the risk of being reduced to a specialized pastime with great cardio but little appeal to the general public. What actions is the league taking, then, to ensure that referees are held responsible? Is there a circle of mediocrity where no one gets fired since everyone is failing together, or are there reviews, suspensions, fines, or other consequences? In addition to internal evaluations and league monitoring, the officiating requires external inquiry. Why are officials supervising high-stakes games acting as though they're making calls at random, like with a magic 8-ball, if you wouldn't permit a surgeon to perform surgery while wearing a blindfold? Clark is not requesting special treatment. On national television, she is requesting that she not be physically disfigured. All she wants is equal application of officiating standards. And in a league that seems to put appearances and vibes ahead of fairness and consistency, that is obviously too much. These problems are known to the league. It decides to disregard them. The integrity and future of the sport are being threatened by this indifference, which is gradually destroying its legitimacy from the inside out.
By sharing that the officiating in the WNBA became as hot button of an issue as any. Heated debates surrounding the league's physicality dominated the headlines, particularly when Indiana Fever star rookie Caitlin Clark was subject to several